Riley County Police have released surveillance video from a local retailer in an attempt to identify a man suspected of making fraudulent purchases in Manhattan. The individual, who appears to be a white male, is seen exiting the Best Buy store. Police say they're seeking to speak with the man regarding the unauthorized use of a credit card, which resulted in fraudulent transactions totaling close to $4,700 at Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Family Dollar on March 7th. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. The Junction City Police Department says officers and detectives have seized over 2,300 fentanyl-laced pills in the past 2 weeks from ongoing drug investigations in the area. The pills, commonly referred to as Dirty 30s, were recovered along with 3 kilograms of pure fentanyl, the department said in a Saturday social media post. The seizure removes the equivalent of approximately 1.5 million potential lethal doses of fentanyl off the streets. Additionally, police said multiple arrests had also been made. Fentanyl is extremely lethal and has been linked to many overdose deaths in the United States, including here in the Manhattan area. Officials say it's 50 times more potent than heroin. The Manhattan Lions Club hosted the annual Easter egg hunt at City Park Saturday. Children were separated by age group and then allowed to let loose to hunt eggs. They were quickly finished in under 15 minutes. Leila Gillespie is one of the volunteers who helped hide the eggs for the Lions Club.
Everybody in the Lions, and there's probably 15 of us here today at least, and we always carry extra eggs around with us, and it's like, oh, here, it's an egg. So, we don't want any kids going home, sad because they didn't get any egg.
The Easter Bunny even made an appearance for photo opportunities. You can see some of those photos at newsradiokman.com. The Lions Club's next major event will be a trash pickup collection along K-18 coming up on April 13th. With CEO Robin Cole set to retire from Pawnee Mental Health on May 1st, a new CEO is set to replace her. Michael Rezcala was appointed by the board in late January, and he's been on the job now for about a month. Rezcala and Cole have been working through a transition period. Rezcala says he's humbled to be a part of the organization.
I am intentionally here because I love the state of Kansas. This is not my first time being in Kansas, so I have been here before, several visits.
Rezcala previously worked for UMass Community Health Link in central Massachusetts. Cole says Rezcala's experience made him a perfect fit to join Pawnee.
And especially as we, have become a CCBHC, and we're working towards integrating primary care with behavioral health care and substance abuse treatment.
A retirement reception for Cole will be taking place this Thursday at Manhattan Entertainment Company, which is located in the Candlewood Shopping Center. That begins at 4 o'clock. The city of Manhattan has announced a retirement reception for City Manager Ron Fear later this month. That event will take place at 3 o'clock on April 18th, coinciding with Fear's last official day on the job. The public reception will take place in the City Commission Room at City Hall. Fear announced in November his plans to retire after 24 years as city manager and more than 42 years working with the city. Deputy City Manager Jason Hilders will serve as interim city manager until a permanent replacement is hired and in place. The Kansas Senate took action this past week on a number of bills, including some controversial items tied to abortion rights and gender-affirming care. One of those bills would require Kansas abortion providers to ask patients why they want to terminate a pregnancy. Responses would then be reported to the state. The Senate passed the measure on a 27-13 vote last Tuesday. State Senator Yusha Reddy voted against House Bill 2749, saying reproductive rights are too important.
I think this is a backdoor way to somehow make sure you are rethinking everything, having self-doubt, also making yourself feel guilty, making it feel very intrusive into your life about, should you even do this? Why are you here? And I think we need to move away from that.
State lawmakers have also advanced a measure that would ban gender-affirming health care for minors. Governor Laura Kelly vetoed a similar measure last year. Reddy says she's worried about Kansas making the news for the, quote, wrong reasons when it comes to inclusivity.
We want to be a loving state that embraces everybody that's here and try to remove barriers that make it harder to live for some of these individuals.
The legislature appears to have the necessary votes to override a veto on Senate Bill 233 after the Senate passed it 27-13 and the House passed it 82-39. K-State Innovation Partners has appointed Chris Brandt as its interim president and CEO effective today. Innovation Partners is the unit overseeing technology commercialization. It follows an internal search to fill the position vacated by Rebecca Robinson, who recently accepted a new opportunity at Oregon State University. For the past 8 years, Brandt has been an integral member of the Innovation Partners team, working closely with administrators, faculty, and staff across all K-State campuses. He previously served as the Chief Technology Innovation Officer.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with your sports headlines at News Radio KMAN. K-State baseball wrapping the weekend early on Saturday as they suffered another loss to the Texas Longhorns, their second in as many outings as Matt Walters tells us.
After losing the opener last Thursday night, 14-6, the Texas Longhorns came back to win its series with K-State, taking the finale on Saturday by a final of 6-3. Kansas State would have to play catch-up again as Texas scored 2 in the third and 2 in the fourth. K-State would counter with a run in the sixth. The big inning, though, for K-State came in the seventh when the Wildcats left the bases loaded when Kalen Culpepper struck out to end the inning. The Cats would make it interesting, made it 4-3 with 2 in the eighth, but Texas would get 2 solo homers from Jared Thomas and Peyton Powell back-to-back off Tyson Neighbors, and that would pretty much finish the deal. Texas and K-State both 6-3 in the Big 12. The Cats are 18-8. Texas 17-11. Next up, 4 road games for the Wildcats this week. The first of which Wednesday night in Springfield as the Cats take on Missouri State. Again, Saturday's final in Manhattan, Texas 6, K-State 3. I'm Matt Walters, News Radio KMAN.
Bobby Witt Jr. finished a double shy of the cycle yesterday afternoon as the Royals hit 5 homers in back of a strong start by Brady Singer. They routed the Twins 11-0. Salvador Perez hit a 3-run homer in the first to start the explosion.
2-2, 2 on. And a high drive. The wind will help it. Back goes Kirilloff to the fence, to the wall, and gone. Salvador Perez.
Kyle Isbell and Michael Garcia hit back-to-back homers in the second, then Witt's homer came in the bottom of the third.
The 1-0 pitch. Fastball hit high in the air, deep straightaway center. Martin races back at the track, at the fence. It's out of here! Bobby Witt Jr.'s first home run of the season. The Royals' barrage continues. It's 10-0 in the bottom of the third.
Nelson Velasquez would also go deep for Kansas City to cap off the day's offense. Singer allowed 3 hits and a walk over 7 innings while striking out 10. Bailey Ober suffered the loss for Minnesota, getting just 4 outs while allowing 8 runs on 9 hits and a walk. Coverage of the Royals and Orioles comes up at 5 today, with first pitch just after 5:35 in Baltimore. DJ Burns scored a season-high 29. DJ Horn added 20 as 11th-seeded NC State beat ACC rival Duke 76-64 to advance to the school's first Final Four since winning the national title in 1983. Kevin Keats' team riding a 9-game winning streak that dates back to the start of the ACC tournament.
It's a miracle run, but we're not surprised. Like we didn't come into this tournament and said, hey, let's just try to be here. We came here to win it, and we did. So now we got to move on to our next stage.
The Wolfpack to face Purdue as big man Zach Edey went for a career-high 40 points and pulled down 16 rebounds. The Boilermakers of Matt Painter are into the program's first Final Four since 1980. They bested Tennessee 72-66.
I think it's a big fallacy in recruiting because everybody wants to play shortstop and lead off. But you got one shortstop, and if Cal Ripken's there, he's probably not going to get moved. And so guys just don't grasp. They want roles, but I want players that just want to win. I want guys that can fit into those roles and understand that. Now you got to have your horses right. You can't have 8 guys that are 8 role players. You got to have Carson Edwards. You got to have Caleb Swanigan. You got to have Zach Edey. Now when you piece those other guys together, you're systematic.
On Saturday, UConn and Alabama advanced with victories. On the women's side, NC State also through to the Final Four as they bested Texas 76-66. South Carolina dropped Oregon State 70-58. Back to that NC State-Texas game for a moment. The 3-point line for the tournament at Moda Center in Portland had a discrepancy in distance at each end of the court that went unnoticed through 4 games over 2 days before Texas and North Carolina State were informed of the problem ahead of their Elite 8 matchup. UT's Vic Schaefer.
Well, I hate to say this, but I have a lot of colleagues that would say only in women's basketball. I mean, it's a shame, really, that it even happened. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not the culprit here. You guys are asking me about something that I had no control over. So Vic Schaefer ain't the problem. But anyway, it is what it is. So it's a shame. That's all I can say.
The final 2 spots in the women's Final Four to be settled tonight, one of them coming from a rematch of last year's championship game when Iowa tangles with LSU. That's followed by Southern Cal matching up with UConn. Police are searching for Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice as their investigation into a major accident on Saturday in Dallas continues. Citing law enforcement officials, the Dallas Morning News reported a vehicle believed to be registered or leased to Rice was involved in a crash in northeast Dallas around 6:20 Saturday evening. A Dallas police spokeswoman told the newspaper that a driver in a Corvette and another in a Lamborghini were speeding and both lost control of their vehicles. The Lamborghini struck a median wall and caused a chain reaction collision involving 4 other vehicles. The police spokeswoman telling the Dallas newspaper that the occupants of the 2 cars ran from the crash site. Overnight, CBS NFL insider Josina Anderson reported that Rice has retained legal representation. Denny Hamlin won the race off pit road with Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Martin Truex Jr. after a caution last night at Richmond. With 2 laps to go, he won it in overtime. Then did Hamlin to capture the NASCAR event. Steven Yeager of Germany is a PGA Tour winner for the first time. He's headed to the Masters after winning the Houston Open. That ended Scotty Scheffler's bid for 3 straight victories. Royals baseball this evening as the Royals and Orioles match up at Camden Yards. First pitch is just after 5:35. Coverage at 5 on News Radio KMAN.